Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are gonna discuss the parasympathetic peripheral ganglia, especially the ciliary ganglion. But before going to the main topic, start the introduction of that parasympathetic ganglia. So you are looking into the spinal cord and the associated part of the sympathetic system, and you can visualize the four peripheral parasympathetic ganglia in this picture. So what I want to tell you is that the four small ganglia, they are associated with the branches of the fifth cranial nerve, which is trigeminal nerve. And next, what they do, they receive the preganglionic fibers either from the third, seventh, or ninth cranial nerve, which are oculomotor, facial, or glossopharyngeal. And what they do, and the cell they contain, they have to give rise to the postganglionic nerve fibers. And the area of distribution you can learn from the detail in the topic are that they are being distributed mainly through the branches of the trigeminal nerve to the glands of your orbit, nose, pharynx, its nasal part, you would say, mouth, and sphincters of the pupil, and ciliaris muscles of the eyeball. So, postganglionic fibers of your sympathetic system and fibers of the trigeminal nerve, they have to frequently run through these ganglia. But as we know, they have no functional connection with them. But these parasympathetic ganglia lie closer to the structure they supply than in comparison to the sympathetic ganglia, which just send their postganglionic fibers to the similar structures, but they are located, you could say, far away from it. And the sympathetic ganglia give rise to fibers. They form plexus on the arteries which supply them. So that was the main introduction about the parasympathetic ganglia. Now we will start the topic, that is the ciliary ganglion. In this picture of your eyeball, you can visualize the ciliary ganglion that is being marked by a purple circle here. This circular figure is representing inside the ciliary ganglion. And now we have to learn that it is located in the apex of your orbit, just located behind the eye, in between the lateral rectus muscle and the optic nerve. Now look into the picture. Here we can see the lateral view, and from the start you can see the location of the medulla oblongata, pons, and above to the pons you can see the midbrain. And from here you can visualize the red color marking, that is the diagram showing oculomotor nerve in this red color, which is your third cranial nerve, having its superior and inferior branch. So here we are interested here to see that this ciliary ganglion, which you can visualize, has got three main connections, you would say, or roots, you would say, having collection of fibers. So the motor root that has to arise from the oculomotor nerve, or you can say its nerve to inferior oblique, through its inferior branch, you would say. And from where does it come? It has to take origin from the midbrain, buried having the inside Edinger-Westphal nuclei, which is a sensory nucleus. And what it does, it contains preganglionic fibers from this nucleus, and these fibers are supposed to relay in this ciliary ganglion, and then the postganglionic fibers, they have to reach through short ciliary nerves, and they are going to supply your sphincter pupillae and ciliaris muscle. And after this motor root, that again I repeat, starting from the Edinger-Westphal nucleus in the midbrain, taking the fibers as preganglionic and relaying in the ganglion, and then have to pass through the short ciliary nerves to reach the respected area they have to supply. Now we have to discuss the sensory. Okay, after we have completed the description of the motor route, now we are supposed to learn about the sensory route and the sympathetic route of the ciliary ganglion. So first concentrate the red colored internal carotid artery around which you can visualize the sympathetic plexus coming from the superior cervical sympathetic ganglion. And this plexus, what it has to do now, it basically give rise to the fibers which are now post ganglionic coming from the superior cervical ganglion, and they do not relay in the ciliary ganglion. These fibers pass out as short ciliary nerves. You can see the nerves that are being written here and also encircled in the purple circle, and they have to reach to the blood vessels of your eyeball, and they also supply the dilator pupillae muscle of your eye. And now after that you have to concentrate on this trigeminal nerve with its ganglion, and you can see its upper division, which is the ophthalmic division. And from here what is going to happen that it will give rise to the nasociliary nerve, and taking sensory fibers in it. What they do, sensory fibers as from your eyeball are reaching back into the ciliary ganglion and are being perceived through nasociliary nerve up to the final destination, the trigeminal nerve, to reach towards your brain. And now what is going to happen, these fibers that are coming from your eyeball, they are also not relaying in this ciliary ganglion. And after that concentrate on another figure. Now in this picture you can see that the long ciliary nerve is there coming from the nasociliary nerve of the ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve, and so many short small branches of short ciliary nerves that are extending from the ciliary ganglion, basically arising from it, and they are considered to be the branches of your trigeminal nerve, its first division, the ophthalmic division. They are coming from it. They carry parasympathetic and sympathetic fibers to the ciliary body and the iris. So the short ciliary nerves, they consist of postsynaptic or postganglionic parasympathetic fibers originating in the ciliary ganglion, and afferent fibers from the nasociliary nerve that has to pass through the ganglion, and postsynaptic sympathetic fibers also pass through it. And now you can see the long ciliary nerve, which are again the branches of these are the nerves which are the branches of nasociliary nerve, and they pass to your eyeball bypassing the ciliary ganglion. Means they are not coming out of the ciliary ganglion, rather bypass it and convey postsynaptic sympathetic fibers to dilator pupillae and afferent fibers from the iris and the cornea. In this very diagram, you can see two involuntary muscles which you call as dilator pupillae and the sphincter pupillae. They are both involuntary, as I told you. They have to control the size of the pupil. What the parasympathetic stimulation does, it basically supplies your sphincter pupillae, which is circularly arranged, and by decreasing its diameter it constricts the pupil and leading to the pupillary miosis. And the sympathetic supply or sympathetic stimulation causes the radially arranged dilator pupillae muscles and increases its diameter, means dilate your pupil. You know what? the nature of the pupillary response or two responses you observe, the dilatation and constriction, is paradoxical. They have mentioned that whenever the sympathetic response occur, usually it is immediate. But here you can see yet it may take up to 20 minutes for the pupil to dilate, especially in the low light. And the parasympathetic responses are usually typically slower than that of the sympathetic one. But here you can see parasympathetically stimulation causes pupillary constriction, and just a second you would say an instinct response, instantly it is being given. So that is a very good diagram to clear this concept. Now just a revision in this schematic representation of the ciliary ganglion along with your eyeball and the three nerve roots, the motor, the sensory and the sympathetic. First concentrate on the oculomotor nerve that carries the presynaptic parasympathetic fibers continuing as you can see the yellow line, the postsynaptic parasympathetic fibers reaching to the eyeball. Then you can see there is the sympathetic root being marked with the red line, you would say, running through the ciliary ganglion and then following the short ciliary nerve. And they are also taking root through the long ciliary nerve as well towards your eyeball. And then you can see the sensory root, which is showing the nasociliary nerve, and this is basically showing its fibers being again running through short ciliary nerves, and this is the detail map showing the three major roots of the eyeball. Again another schematic representation. Keep an eye on the icons that have made that red color being sensory, this blue color being sympathetic, and green is parasympathetic. And first concentrate from below up. First the oculomotor is showing the third cranial nerve is showing inside the parasympathetic fibers that are going to run, and in the very center through the ciliary ganglion and through short ciliary nerve towards your eyeball. And you can see here this artery, and around it the blue color winding round the sympathetic plexus is there, and it is also going and traversing the ciliary ganglion, you would say. And then finally you can see this trigeminal nerve, its ophthalmic division, and then you can visualize the nasociliary nerve, and the red color, which is the sensory fibers, are entering into your